yeah, let's say it's a Muslim nation, they decide to put the minimum age of marriage, nikah, as a particular age, then that has to be respected, because if it's not respected, that would be disobedience to the authorities, which is Islam disallows and can actually issue punishments for. So depending on what the culture dictates, if we're talking about a, let's say, 21st century culture in the Muslim world, then quite frankly, yeah, I mean, it can happen like that, yeah.
So in terms of like reaching puberty, so in terms of like girls, as soon as she starts menstruating, you're saying then she's old enough to be married?
No, I haven't said that.
I'm asking a question.
No. I said that even before puberty, the nikah can be put in place.
Yes, okay.
But when she gets to an age where she's able now to have intercourse...
Okay, well that's different. That's different from actually just reaching the stage of actually menstruating.
No, I agree with that.
Because there are many Muslims...
No, I agree with that.
There are many Muslims who say, as soon as she starts menstruating, then she's ready.
Definitely
there are many who say
yeah, that's wrong.
Hence the reason why you have so many child brides throughout the Islamic world.
Yeah, but we have to define what we mean by child
do not survive much beyond the wedding day.
Right, exactly. So if that, no, I'm not. First of all, I'd like to see this. I'd like to see the stats for that, because I think there's more evidence of that by way of Western culture than there is in the Middle East.
Yeah. No, but you're talking about Western.
We're talking about America, for example, where this happens quite. We're talking about Holland, where in the red light district there's.
certain states
we're talking about UK, where there's a slavery act.
Yeah.
Which, well, by the way, sorry, we're talking about UK, which is a slavery act. Which in that act it says it gives us a statistics of how many girls that are under whatever age are human trafficked and sold into whatever. We're talking about white men. Sorry to white English, English men. You know, I'm not saying all of them are like that, but they go to Thailand and buy a boy or something.
We all know that's wrong, and we all know that's evil.
But what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is, but you've made a sociological point.
I made a theological point.
Which
is your religion. Your religion.
What's your name?
You can call me Ado.
Ado.
Yeah.
You made a sociological point when you said that in the Muslim world, you said this way, you said in the Muslim world, hold on. You said in the Muslim world, there are many girls who don't survive the first night.
Correct.
I'm saying that I would like to see what statistics you are citing, because we actually have statistics in the West that indicate to us the extent to which human trafficking is actually a thing.
Yeah.
In this country, for example, I cited the Slavery Act. There are statistics that show how many people, by the way, women, and if you look at the Slavery Act and how many girls are under a certain age are human trafficked in this country and the West in general, you'll find that a lot of them come from other parts of the world.
Yeah.
Like, for example, from Poland, we're talking about from Africa and so on.
Yeah.
So why, I don't know what this hyperfixation of talking about the Muslim world is, when it's happening on our doorsteps that people are being literally sold.
It is.
Probably in your area, in London.
I agree. I totally agree. The difference is this. The people who are doing that, whether they're traveling to Thailand, whether it's happening on my doorstep, those people by and large are not saying, I'm doing this because I have the green light from Almighty God. Whereas, throughout the Islamic world, there are many people, many men who marry child brides because they take the example from the Islamic prophet, him himself taking a child bride, and therefore they're saying that's the difference.
Okay, well, hold on. The example of the Islamic prophet was there was a respite period. So why did he, if this was the case where you could just marry whatever age you want, why didn't he just consummate the marriage as soon as he married her? Why did he wait 3 years?
All I'm saying is
can you answer this question?
No, hold on. I'll come to it in a second. I'm just saying that they're following the so-called prophet, the Islamic prophet. They're following his example.
I've responded to that by saying, if they were following the Islamic prophet, the thing is, with this, the issue here, the issue of, you're talking about marriage.
Yes.
We're saying, here's my stance on the matter. Let me be very clear about it. When it comes to fully fledged understanding, conventional understanding of marriage, where intercourse is understood as well, we say so long as it causes harm, it should be stopped. That's my understanding. Now you may ask, who gets to define harm? Because that's a very valid question. I say the specialists get to define harm. How do I prove that from the Islamic paradigm? I prove that through two evidences. One of them is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلِ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask the people of specialism if you don't know. And the other one is in the hadith of the Prophet, where he says, مَنْ تَطَبَّبَ وَلَمْ يَكُنْ بِالطِّبِّ مَعْرُوفًا فَأَصَابَ نَفْسًا فَهُوَ ضَامِنٌ. That whoever acts as a doctor and he's not known as a doctor and he harms somebody, then he's responsible. Therefore, my understanding is, if somebody is physically and psychologically capable of intercourse, whatever age that is, I don't see it as an immoral thing for that person to engage in a fully fledged relationship. Now, the West has confused itself as to what that age should be. Some parts of the West say it should be 14 years old. Some say no, it should be 15 years old. Historically, went back to 10. Delaware had a 7, by the way. Delaware, this 100 years ago. Delaware, the state in America, the age of marriage was 7. In 1929 in this country, the Marriage Act changed the age of consent from 12 to 16. Now we believe pedophilia is, sorry Ado, let me just continue. We believe pedophilia is anyone that has sex with someone under the age of 16. I'm saying to you that this is a very recent contemporary phenomena. Now what I'm proposing is that if we want to call something almost a psychological disorder, which is pedophilia, right? Psychological disorder, it must have, and by the way, interestingly, in the psychological literature, it's not actually this. Psychological literature, the way they define children is not the way that the law defines children. So when one looks at the historical record, the psychological literature, the medical literature, we'll find that actually there isn't a age which is fixed that says this age is where you become a pedophile and this age is where you become a normal member of society. So if you're in Russia and you have a 14-year-old sexual partner, you're following the law. But if you had the same exact setup in the UK, you're a sex offender. Yeah. We say that is an unusual way of labeling the public. We say that's an unscientific manner of which you're dealing with this situation. And we would say it's upon you to show that whoever it is that's making the argument that it should be 16 and not say 15 and not say 14. And I would go further than this and say it could also be noted that you can have people over the age of 16 that from the Islamic perspective it would be not allowed to marry them. For example, if you have a 17-year-old girl, but she's, let's say, malnourished, or she has a sexual, some kind of ailment or something like that, or a man that has a disease, or whatever it is, it would be immoral from an Islamic perspective for that man to be in a sexual relationship. Even though it's over the age of 16. Like I said to him before, if I have intercourse, well, me, or somebody else, some big man, has an intercourse with a centurion, what's it called, centurion, like a 100-year-old person, having sex, this and that, hold the clavicle, go, you know, I could kill the person. Now, according to this law, nothing would happen. I can have sex with a 100-year-old, 90-year-old, 80-year-old. You know, I can go into the old folks' home and close the door and do what I want. I'm just saying that the idea is flawed when you say, for example, let me ask you a question. Let me be honest. Let me ask you. A 15-year-old woman, yeah, with big hips and a strong body, who would be harmed the more in a sexual intercourse? Her or a 100-year-old woman who's in her last days of her life?
You're deflecting. We're talking about children. We know that puberty starts at different ages for different people.
I'm not talking about
puberty.
We know this. I'm talking about harm.
I'm talking about that because it's relevant to what we're saying. We know that changes depending on the person. So some people may reach the age of puberty at 13. Some people may reach the age of puberty at 16. We know this, but we're saying that.
But I'm not mentioning puberty, by the way. I didn't say you. I said harm, by the way.
Well, I'm mentioning it.
Okay, fine.
And so the point is, the reason why, in the context of this conversation and asking questions, I said there are many Muslims who say that as soon as a girl starts menstruating, then she's ready.
Okay, but as I said, the Prophet goes against this because the Prophet ﷺ, he said in the hadith, "La darar wa la dirar." There is no harming or reciprocating harm. This is a general principle in Islam. In fact, the usulis, the people who are specialists in principles of jurisprudence, they say one of the guiding principles of Islam is ad-dararu yuzal, that harm is to be averted. And by the way, Shatibi, who is seen as the master of this topic, which wrote a book called Muwafaqat in the 8th century, he said that principles in Islam, or qawaid, are more encompassing than individual evidence. And you may say, how could it be the case that a principle is stronger than an evidence, like a Quran Sunnah evidence? He said because the principle is composed of many evidences. So the fact that one of the principles of Islam is that harm is to be averted is not just something that liberals say, the harm principle, by the way. So you can do whatever you want. So we have a stronger thing than that. We say you're not allowed to cause harm to yourself as well as other people. So what we're saying is this, is that all of the scenarios you're bringing are situations where harm is caused. I'm saying any situation where it can be established beyond a reasonable doubt that any harm is caused, and that can be said by specialists of that area, we would say it's haram to do it. Haram.
Is that physical and psychological?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Both, yeah?
It is. Well, it is haram. But the point is that there are many child brides within the Islamic world because of following the example of your prophet.
Okay, can you give me some examples and stats, please?
There are plenty of child brides. And then you try to make the parallel between what's happening about human trafficking in the West. That's what you're trying to make.
I'm asking,
the point is that in the West, they're not claiming to be following God.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
We're talking about people who are doing this because they're following the example.
Can you give me some
of the
examples?
Prophet. Well, let me finish.
Give me some examples.
Well, let me finish.
Yeah.
Because of what Islam says, that Muhammad is the greatest example to all humankind.
Okay.
A man who married a 6-year-old girl.
Okay. Well, as I said to you before, he didn't have intercourse with her
until she was 9.
Well, that's the point. The point is, why did he wait? The question is, why did he wait? My question is, why did he wait?
Is that a virtue for him to wait until she was 9?
No. Why did he wait?
When did she start?
Why did
she start?
Why did he wait?
Why did he wait? I don't know why he waited. You tell me why he waited.
Why doesn't it? Because the idea that you're trying to spring forward to us today, right, hold on, is that you're making the argument that Islam encourages,
following the example
of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and therefore people get married to youngsters who are harmed because they are following. Now I'm saying to you, I've already explained the evidences that the Prophet himself disallowed harm. Okay, we've also got an additional evidence that Aisha waited 3 to 4 years actually. Yeah. Now my question is
9.
Okay, my question is, if it was unrestricted, then why wait? But by the way, just let me tell you something. In the 4 schools of Islamic thought, by the way, there's ijma', there's consensus that you cannot be an adult before the age of 9, and that you are an adult at the age of 15. That's where the thing is. So from between 9 and 15, we say that's where adulthood is.
Okay.
Okay, so between 9 and 15. Just because we have a different understanding of what adulthood is, it doesn't mean to say that the West is right. Now my question is, now, we're saying it can be anywhere between 9 and 15.
Yeah.
9 and 15. Now, but having said that, even if a 15-year-old, 16-year-old, 17-year-old is physically incapable of giving rights of the husband or the wife, if it's a person, if it's a male or female, depending on what they are, if they're physically incapable, then they would not be allowed to get into. And if they do get into a marriage, then they would be sinful. The community would be sinful. The persons who know that they have this baggage with them is sinful. Everyone is sinful. So what I'm saying is that you're saying that Islam allows something. I'm saying that Islam denies it, and that there's strong evidence. In fact, I would like to know anything as restrictive as Islam. I would like to know. I would like to know anything as restrictive. Because look at the Bible, for example. Hold on. You mentioned the Quran. My point is that if you look at the Bible, there's nothing that restricts that. In fact, in the book of Numbers, you're a Christian, right? You got the cross, right? In the book of Numbers, chapter number 31, verse number 18, it's mentioned that Moses, when he goes into the nation, that you can take the young girls for yourself. Now, according to the Babylon Talmud, according to the Talmud of the Jews, they said that taking the young girls for yourself were girls that had never known a man yet, by the way. These girls, by the way, had been understood for thousands of years by Jewish people to be girls that can be enslaved by men, okay? There's no abrogation of this anywhere in the Bible. So my scriptures, as I've just mentioned to you, disallow the harm that is caused by the sexual intercourse. Your scriptures have no such disallowance.
But the reality is that many girls are harmed.
Okay, you're making the same point.
Because they're following the example of the brother. Many girls are. That's the reality.
Okay.
Many girls are being harmed.
Yeah. Okay.
Throughout the Islamic world.
I'm making a scriptural argument right now.
Okay. Throughout the Islamic world, many girls are being harmed because of this.
Okay.
Within Christianity, we follow the example of Jesus.
Okay.
That's what the example we're following.
Okay.
Now, Islam says that Muhammad is the greatest example for all humankind.
Okay.
I'm saying that Jesus Christ wait, let me finish.
Of course.
Is the greatest example for all humankind. Whereas even the Quran says that Jesus never sinned. Even the Quran says that Jesus was born of a miracle.
Okay, brother, let me ask you a question.
But was Muhammad without sin? No, he wasn't.
Okay, that's what you're saying. But here's what I'm saying.
No. I'm saying what the Quran says.
No,
the Quran says that Jesus was without sin.
Okay, look, we agree
So I'm saying that Jesus is the greatest example for all humankind.
following Jesus
No, please, bro, 1 second. Let me come back, right?
Go on.
My question to you is this, yeah? Do you believe that having sex with a child, in your understanding of it, someone who's, let's say, prepubescent and incapable, that we both agree that that person is a child, both of us would agree, right? A 4-year-old, for example, a 5-year-old. We all agree a 5-year-old is a child, a 6-year-old is a child. Okay.
Yes.
Having sex with that age, yeah? Do we both agree that that's immoral? That's wrong?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. Do we agree that it's immoral in all times and all places?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I would say that was wrong, yes.
Yeah, okay, it's wrong in all times and places. Now, Jesus Christ, you believe in the Trinity, correct?
I believe in the God of the Bible.
Right. So Jesus Christ is part of a triune Godhead, correct?
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Which means he's the author of the Old Testament, correct?
Right. Okay.
Correct. So if he's the author of the Old Testament, he is the one in the book of. Wait, let me finish. He's the one in the book of Numbers, chapter 31, verse number 18, that's telling the people to take the young girls for yourself. So was Jesus Christ, who you say is who you say is the guide,
He is the example.
He's the example.
Okay. That's all right.
Okay.
He's the example.
No problem. Jesus Christ, who is the example, who is the
He is the
guide,
example.
who's the one without sin. He commanded to sin, correct?
He did not command to sin.
So wait a minute. So where it says in Numbers chapter 31 verse 18, is it a sin or not?
Excellent. I'm not saying that you're allowed to do that at all.
So
I'm
Jesus
saying
was
you can't
wrong?
go- No, I'm not saying Jesus was wrong.
So what is it then? It's dilemma, isn't it?
No, Jesus is right.
So Jesus is right to have sex with the girls,
No,
young ones?
I'm not saying that. Does it say have sex with them?
You can take
Does
them
it
for
say?
yourself.
Does
Take them
it
for
say
yourself.
have sex with them?
Take them for yourself.
Take them for yourself. Does it say have sex?
What are
with
you
them?
going to do?
What are you gonna do with them?
Does it say have sex? with them?
You can do more than have sex.
Does it say have sex with them?
You can do more than
It
that.
doesn't say have sex with them.
You can
But
do
the
more than
point,
that.
the point is, with your prophet, we know that he married a 6-year-old girl. Let me
but
finish.
you're-
You've done most of the talking.
Go ahead, please.
He married her when she was 6, and we know that he consummated. I won't even call it a marriage.
You don't have to call it anything.
Yeah.
You just said.
We know that he
you
had
agree
sex.
that.
We know that he had sex with her when she was 9.
Listen, I've just no problem. I'm saying to you this.
No, it is a problem. It is a
to you it's a
problem.
problem.
No, it is. Of course, it's a problem.
Okay,
It is a
okay.
problem
No
for me,
problem.
and it's a problem for a lot of people in the world.
No problem.
But
It should
it
be
is
a
a
problem.
problem.
So what,
It's a problem for grown men having sex with a 9-year-old
So
girl.
Jesus was wrong to say to. Well, hold on. Jesus.
I've already said it doesn't
what's
say
it?
go and have sex.
So what does it say?
It doesn't say. You just
Take
said
them for
that-
yourself. We're gonna
Take
do with
them for
them.
yourself.
We'll do with them.
It doesn't say have sex.
What are you gonna do with them?
It doesn't say
What are you
have
gonna do with them?
sex.
What are you gonna do with them?
It doesn't say have sex.
Can you have sex?
But we know that
Can you have
your
sex with them?
prophet,
Can you have
your
sex?
prophet did have sex
Ado,
with a
can-
9-year-old girl.
Ado, according-
Simple as that.
Ado,
we know
according-
that your prophet
You're not
did
answering my
have
question.
sex.
You're not answering my
We know
question.
that. I've already said. I've answered it when I said it doesn't
Ado,
say.
Ado.
It doesn't say have sex.
I'm saying, are you allowed? Is allowance given?
It doesn't say.
Is
have
allowance
sex.
given, yes or no?
I don't know. It doesn't say. Have sex.
Ah!
I don't know. But here's it.